Welcome back to the program. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Performance Inspired Nutrition. That is pi-nutrition.com. Their mission is to help inspire people to live a more healthy and active lifestyle by offering honest, natural, and trustworthy products. How do you know that? Because they are GMP certified. That means good manufacturing practices. They have the seal. So whether you're wanting to lose weight or maintain your weight or just live a healthier, more active lifestyle, I'm telling you, because they help me do it, Performance Inspired Nutrition is the place that you need to look. Now, here's the other thing. Even if you are headed out on the road, like right now, I'm out in Los Angeles, and I wanted to be able to continue to take my Ripped Whey protein shake. I want to be able to make that every morning. Well, they have products made on the go with individual single-size servings of my Ripped Whey protein powder. So I get to take that with me. It's a box of 12. And every morning, when I got here, I made sure I went and got my 2% milk, and I have my shaker cup, and I pour one of the individual servings in with the milk, and I shake it up in my shaker cup, and we are good to go. So I understand how sometimes dieting and living a healthy lifestyle is extremely inconvenient. Well, Performance Inspired knows that as well, and that's why they have products made for on-the-go individuals to allow you to continue to live a healthy and active lifestyle with their products on the go, no matter where you are in the world. So check them out today, pi-nutrition.com. When you get to checkout, be sure that you enter code STEVE at checkout to get 10% off of your order. We're also brought to you by artistdevelopmentacademy.com. All of you singers, songwriters, artists, producers, engineers, listen up. You need an all-access pass to the Artist Development Academy. You need the information, access, and guidance that is required to give you the roadmap to how to be successful in the music business. We're not selling you the dream. We're not even selling you a method. What we're doing is showing you the tools that you need, the information that you need, the access to the people who can help guide you in the right direction, because there's so much misinformation out there, just a ton of it. We wanted to consolidate everything you need to know, the tools you need to have to put them in your tool bag, to make sure that you can have a successful career in the music business as you define it. Find out more at artistdevelopmentacademy.com, where our all-access members get access instantly to our entire online library of online courses. Plus, you get a brand new course every single month. You get access to our members-only forum where you can meet co-writers, collaborators. You can post your work for feedback. It's just an awesome time. Plus, you get access to our monthly members-only live streams where you can connect with instructors one-on-one and ask your questions. So if that sounds awesome to you and you really want to take your career to the next level, but you need to know how to do that, you need the roadmap, well, we've got it for you. It's at artistdevelopmentacademy.com. Right now, you can save 30% on your all-access membership by entering code STEVE at checkout. So go do that now. Go to artistdevelopmentacademy.com. Coming up on today's episode, something that I really have wanted to talk about, and that is the fact that I refuse to be my brother's keeper, and I don't want my brother to be my keeper either. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean. I'm going to give you some examples, some recent examples of what's going on with Maren Morris and Chris Janson. It's some very interesting stuff. Socially acceptable. I'm getting really tired of the term. That and political correctness. That, plus I'm opening up the mailbag and answering some of your questions in today's episode of the Steve Freeman Podcast.
You're listening to the Steve Freeman Podcast, the real, raw truth about the pursuit of success in music, business, and life. Here's your host, hit songwriter, multi-platinum selling producer, and serial entrepreneur, Steve Freeman.
Definitely a worthwhile listen if you are in and around the music industry, especially for aspiring songwriters and artists. There aren't many out there like this. Steve does a great job making discussions real, fair, and relevant. And congratulations on the Performance Inspired tip. That is a review from iTunes and Apple Podcasts from Fewbots. He rated us 5 stars as well. I encourage you to go do that as well. Everybody listening, if you're on Apple Podcast or iTunes, please go over there, leave us a written review, and leave us those 5 stars. I would greatly appreciate it. Once you're done doing that, head over to thestevefreeman.com. Check out the brand new podcast merch. People are going nuts over the skull with the headphones and the no bullshit logo. Everybody's loving that. So we've got that in t-shirts. We've got it in tank tops, hats, everything. Go check it out. Go to thestevefreeman.com and you can click on the link there that says store or shop or something, and it'll take you right there. I'm glad to have you here today for this episode. I'm almost positive that probably a few things that I'm going to say today are going to offend some of you. But I'm not going to apologize for the fact that you're going to be offended. There are so many things that are going on right now that I just want to put my 2 cents in with what's going on. You know, we've got the COVID virus happening. We've got the Black Lives Matter rallies and protests. We've got rioters out there. It's a very uncertain time in our country. And I see on social media so many more people that are willing to draw the lines that divide us even thicker or deeper or wider. And we have to deal every day now with people's opinions or expressing their First Amendment rights, using their freedom of speech. But now they're getting railroaded. They're getting shut down. They're getting canceled with this whole cancel culture thing because certain people do not like how other people are using their freedoms. We talked a little bit about this in another episode. But I'm getting tired of this whole cancel thing. You know, there's sins of the past that we've all created. Every single one of us has said something or done something that could be found offensive to someone else. I probably have done 5 of those today. But we've all done them in our lifetime. We've certainly done them in our past. I want to make a statement, and this is kind of what I've started kind of living by. There is no way to know how to live your life today. Govern everything you say, every interaction you have with every person, every single thing you post online, all the while not knowing what you may do today that might offend someone 1 to 50 years from now. But yet that is supposedly becoming the norm. That is becoming the normal. We are now expected that no matter what we say or what we do, we need to make sure that we're not doing things, not saying things, and not acting in a way that somebody might be offended by, not just today, but 10 years down the road. It's impossible to know what will offend people in the future. I mean, every day we're coming up with new definitions of how to classify each other. With gender, there was male, then female, then now we can't do that, then it's transgendered, and it's gender fluid. We come up with these and I don't care what you are. I honestly don't care. I do not discriminate against anybody. But what I'm saying is that 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, 10 years ago, we didn't have those definitions. As time moves forward and things are trying to get more politically correct, we try to put things in a box and we give them new labels. But every time we do that, we create an entire class of content that people can now be offended by because it fits under the current umbrella when it didn't 10 years ago. There are new definitions and individual parameters of how people define themselves personally and politically every single day. There is no way of knowing what you might say today. There's no way of knowing how to keep that offending somebody 10 years from now. And I'm sick of seeing people like Jenna Marbles on YouTube. 20 million subscribers is shutting down her YouTube channel because people have a problem with videos that she did 10 years ago or 12 years ago. Same thing they're trying to do with Jimmy Fallon, with Joe Rogan, with Mel Gibson. We are not all going to agree with each other on everything. And I've said it before, but it bears repeating. We have the right to have a different viewpoint. We have the right to view each other differently. We have the right to have our own opinions. We have the right to be vocal about those opinions, whether you like them or not, whether they are politically correct or not. Everything that comes out of my mouth, you don't have to agree with. It also doesn't mean that we have to cancel one another or we have to bash one another or we have to completely try to erase other people off the face of the planet and erase the entire, in these content creator situation, just cancel them all together for something they may have said 10 years ago. In Jenna Marble's case, one of the videos she was talking about is, I think it was a Nicki Minaj or somebody. She was doing a parody video and she put on blackface because she was trying to look like Nicki Minaj in the parody. Well, now she was doing blackface and there's been such outrage that she is deciding to step away from her 20 million subscribers on her channel and go do something else because she has hurt people and offended people. Where were those people 10 years ago? When the video first got put up, it wasn't offensive to anybody then. It's only offensive under the rose-colored glasses of what we are expected to think is politically correct and acceptable in society by the rules that are framed by what we're going through right now. Because of what we're going through with Black Lives Matter, that is not acceptable. What was acceptable 12 years ago isn't acceptable anymore. And I wonder, is that the case, or is it just we all are wearing our feelings a little too high up on our sleeves? It's like we wake up every day now and we look for chances to be offended. People wonder, it's like, why can't we all just come together in this country? The reason is because we spend the most of our time trying to accentuate the things that divide us. We look for an argument. I'm getting to the point where I am seriously considering taking a major break from social media. Because there's nothing positive. Nothing positive. I could post on Facebook, man, the sky sure was blue this morning. The only person that would comment would be, well, it's actually raining over here. What fucking difference does it make? I don't give a shit what it's doing where you are. Where I'm at, I'm giving you where I'm at in the moment. But it doesn't matter. When somebody says blue, somebody can't wait to get on there and say black. When somebody says white, somebody can't wait to get on there and say gray or you're wrong. I'm tired of all the armchair Monday morning quarterbacks. I'm tired of all 6,554 people on Facebook that think they have a medical degree, but they don't. They read an article of fake news, and now that's the fact. I'm so sick of this. And we do it because we have some sort of desire to cancel one another. Because we have a fundamental belief in this country now that the way for you to succeed is to tear other people down. The way to succeed in business, in life, in anything else, to be successful is to be the loudest voice in the room. And whether that voice is spouting and spewing the truth, it doesn't matter. You just have to be the loudest voice in the room. But you got to be careful, because if you say anything that you have a freedom to say, and that it's your right to say, if you say anything we don't agree with, now we're going to try to knock you down a peg or two, and we're going to try to cancel you because we don't agree with what you're saying. And we've somehow placed a value on people's belief systems. And right now in this country, if you're black, your opinion matters more right now. When I'm from the school, everybody's opinion matters to me. What makes this country great is the ability to have a debate. No one voice should be louder than the other. And if we as a people are going to get together and we're going to elect people, or when it comes to celebrities or content creators, if we are going to use whatever platforms we have to raise these people to the top and shine a bright light on them, we need to make sure that whatever it is they're saying when they get there aligns with what we believe. I'm just really getting tired of it. I'm getting tired of the feelings. It's like our feelings walk into a room 20 minutes before we do. And in that 20 minutes, we're preparing the entire time for battle. Every relationship we try to go into, every relationship we try to build is automatically started with us putting on the war paint. And we look at every individual circumstance as a confrontation. We want it. We look for it. We can't wait to find something that somebody posts that we don't agree with so that we can be confrontational. And I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if that is a result of people not feeling heard, or if that's a result of people feeling less than or very low self-esteem. You can take a look at social media. And whether it's guys, whether it's girls, no matter really who it is, you can look on social media and tell that we have a self-esteem problem in this country and around the rest of the world. But we here in the United States, we're the worst at it because we put actual definitions on what good looking is. We put actual definitions on what is healthy, what is not healthy, what opinion is right and what opinion is wrong. And we've become so self-centered that we believe that what we have to say is the only thing that matters. And worse than that, we start to think that what we think and what our beliefs are the only thing acceptable. That the way we believe is the right way. And if you don't believe what we believe, then you are wrong. When in all actuality, there are two sides to every coin. There are two sides to every story. There's always right, there's always wrong, and then there's the truth. But it seems like we don't care enough about each other in this country to get to the truth. We only want to focus on the right or we want to focus on the wrong. As long as we do that, we're never going to find the truth. I see it every day, whether it's the news or whether it's social media. We just need to come together. Well, coming together is going to have to get us to stop looking at ourselves and promoting ourselves and our ideology and the way that we think. Coming together is going to require us to be acceptable of one another. We're going to have to start throwing acceptance out into the relationships that we build and the interactions that we have with people instead of confrontation. But we're just at such a point right now in society that we value confrontation more so than we ever value coming together. And that's what keeps us separated. And I ran into a story that I want to talk about. And some of this you may not like what I'm going to say, but so be it. I'm going to say it anyway. Because of what we're going through with the pandemic, there's all these different stages in different cities. It's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4. And a lot of cities keep getting pushed back to stage 2 because of the spike in cases. And we've talked about how detrimental this has been to the music business, to the music industry, to artists, to touring, everything. Well, under certain rules, wherever that city may be, concerts may be allowed in those areas. And last week, country artists Chris Janson and Chase Rice chose to have concerts. Well, Maren Morris didn't like it very much. She retweeted a photo of the packed crowds at Chase Rice's show, along with a message another user wrote that read, "The people in this audience, along with the presenters of this show, are assuring that conscientious musicians won't be able to work their jobs for a while, and that conscious audience won't be able to see shows for the foreseeable. And to be blunt, that fucking sucks." And I understand what they're saying, but it was Chris Janson and Chase Rice's right because of where they were in the pandemic schedule. They were allowed to have a concert. So they weren't doing anything wrong. And it was my understanding that nobody from Chris Janson or Chase Rice's teams, nobody from their side of the bench was holding a gun to people's head, making them come to this show and not making them wear masks and one of them, even I believe it was Chase Rice's show and Chris Janson's show. They were passing out. You could wear a mask if you wanted. They were passing out hand sanitizer to everybody that walked in. So they were trying to be as up with things as they possibly could to make it as safe as humanly possible. Now, what happened because of all this and the tweets that Maren Morris tweeted, Chris Janson blocked her on Twitter. I love it. I absolutely love it. I labeled and called this episode My Brother's Keeper for a reason. We don't need Maren Morris being the PC police. We don't need Maren Morris doing what she did by posting anything. It's none of your business. It wasn't your fan base. You are not the one responsible for making sure that we all stay healthy. You are not the one responsible for enforcing the law. So Chris Jansen blocked her on Twitter, and her next tweet was a screenshot showing that she had been blocked on the platform by Chris. And then she wrote in the description, what did I do? ? Exclamation point with several laughing emojis. Well, Marin, what you did was you were being a bitch and you were being an asshole. You are not Chris Jansen's keeper. You are not Chase Rice's keeper. You are not my keeper. We do not need to look to you for you to tell us what's socially acceptable and what we need to be doing. We are not looking to you to hold us accountable. Chris Jansen isn't looking to you to make, does Marin Morris think it's okay if we do a show this weekend? Does we have her permission? Okay, if we got her permission, then good. Oh, we don't? She says we shouldn't? Oh, then we probably shouldn't. What makes us so view ourselves as so high and mighty that we think it's our job to hold each other accountable? Seriously, think about that for a second and answer that question. I understand where she's coming from. I know artists want to get back to work. But if you are an artist and you have the ability to play a show, and whatever city that show's going to be in is in a state of this progression where they were allowing live concerts to be held, and you're an artist that holds a concert, I'm sorry, you were just going about it as business as usual. And many of them were taking precautions, handing out masks, handing out hand sanitizer. They were doing nothing wrong. Now, if these concerts had gone on in places where you were still, say, in phase one, where you were supposed to be practicing social distancing, you were supposed to be locked in your homes, then that's a different story. But this was not the situation. And I'm getting sick and tired of everybody, especially celebrities. Why do celebrities think that they have some sort of responsibility to hold the rest of the world accountable? I don't understand it. I mean, is it attention? Is it just they get fed and they get that much more attention for themselves? I mean, what was her purpose for that? Your job is not to be the PC police or to hold anybody accountable. The reason you got blocked is because you were being an asshole. That's why. Because Chris Jansen or Chase Rice or nobody else needs your permission to do anything. And they certainly aren't looking to you for accountability. None of us should be. And I think that's my point. It's not my job to hold you accountable. It is not your job to hold me accountable for anything, for my beliefs, for what I say, for what I may have said 10 years ago, what I may have said yesterday. And certainly what I'm going to say tomorrow. We are not our brother's keeper. I don't want you to be mine. I fully and 100% respect your ability and your belief and your right to say what you want, to think what you want, to live what you want, because that is this country. That's America. So I don't care what you choose and how you choose to use your freedoms. Please stop holding me accountable for the way that I choose to exercise mine. You may not like it. You may not agree with it. You may hate it. But it's my right. And it doesn't make your right my wrong. And that's what we've got to get past. I posted something on Facebook a couple of weeks ago. And the essence of what was said in this post, I just shared the post. It was somebody else's post. It was actually Serena Williams, but it wasn't the Serena, not the tennis Serena Williams. It was another Serena Williams, but it was going around because everybody thought it was the Serena Williams. And it was very profound what she said. And I wish I could find it really quickly because maybe I will. I would love to read it because I think it was, to me, it's the best thing I've heard of how somebody puts something that is relatable to all of us, because I think it's important how we view each other, how we look at each other, and the things that we say, the things that we do, and how it is important for us not to hold each other accountable, that we are capable of loving each other and getting along with each other. We are capable of that without having to agree with every single thing that everybody says. And I don't know that I'm going to be able to find it. I'm trying to looking for it here on the scroll, but I'm not seeing it. So no big deal. I'll come back to it. We'll talk about it in another episode. But I thought it was, what, you know what? It might be on my Instagram. Let me look on my Instagram and see, because I just think it was so powerful what was said. Now, here it is. I'm going to read it to you because I think it was interesting. The post said, I'm sick of COVID-19. I'm sick of black versus white. I'm sick of Democrats versus Republican. I'm sick of gay versus straight. I'm sick of Christians versus atheist. I'm really sick of the media. I'm sick of no one being allowed to think what they want and feel what they do without offending someone. I am sick of the noisy ass people who call the cops when anyone does anything they don't approve of. I'm sick of blaming the whole for the sins of a few. We're one race, the human race. You want to support President Trump? You do you. It's your choice. You want to support Biden? Fine. Also your choice. You want to believe in God? Okay, believe in God. You want to believe in magical creatures that fly around and sprinkle fairy dust to make life better? Awesome. You do you. But stop thrusting your beliefs on others and not being able to deal with the fact that they don't have the same exact mindset as you. Having our own minds is what makes us all individual and beautiful. If you can't handle the fact that you may have a friend that has an opposing view as you, then you are not any better than the bigots and the racists. I don't have to agree with everything you believe to be a decent human being and your friend. I just don't think it can be said any better than that. I absolutely agree with everything that was said in there. We do not have to agree on everything to be friends, to be congenial, to stand next to each other. It's just not necessary. It's not even part of the recipe. What does make us great is our individualism and how we choose to exercise being an individual with the constitutional rights that we're given. I think it's easy when we sit down and we think about these things, it's easy to see what needs to be done. But it's not going to happen until we all start putting a little bit less of ourselves and our opinion out there and start respecting the views and opinions of other people. We've got to stop policing each other. And we've got to realize that none of us are accountable for our neighbor. It is also not our job to hold them accountable. For those of you that do believe we have a maker and one day we will be held accountable. But right now, as we are here on this earth, it is not my job to hold you accountable, and it is not your job to hold me accountable. That's my 2 cents. All right, I told you we were going to open the mailbag. I love getting questions from you guys. So I thought, why not? We'll end the episode with a question from you guys. Dear Steve, I just saw you're the best musical digital distributor of 2020, and it's full of precious information. So first of all, let me say thanks. I have a small channel, which I'm trying to grow, and my objective is to publish albums of instrumental covers. I want to do the same thing as some other people that I'm seeing on YouTube that are doing it successfully. I don't know if these people are using a distributor or if they're affiliated with any performance rights organizations. But how do these people do it? And how do you suggest I move to do the same thing? This has to do with covers on YouTube. I actually covered this in depth in the new YouTube for Musicians course through the Artist Development Academy. So you can definitely go check that. But real simple answer here. Any song that has been commercially released by anybody is fair game. You can cover that song. You can make money from that song. You can post it on Spotify, post it on YouTube. You can put it on Apple Music. You can put it on iTunes for sale. Any song that has been commercially released, you can cover. when you get the correct licensing. That is the huge caveat. You have to obtain the right mechanical and or compulsory licenses to be able to sell or put those things up for streaming if you're doing covers. The exciting thing here is that is very easy. All you have to do is go to songfile.com. Search the songs that you're looking for and then apply for the licenses. It's very simple. I see a lot of different explanations for this online, and they're sending you to a lot of different sites where they charge you to obtain the licensing. You do not have to do that. Go to songfile.com. Songfile is owned by the largest rights protection agency, Harry Fox. They represent 99% of every song out there. They represent all the publishers, all the songwriters in collecting those compulsory licenses. Almost every song you want to search for, they are controlling it and they are administering those rights on behalf of the publishers and the songwriters. So go to songfile.com. Once you get there, you can enter the song that you're looking for, and it will tell you who the writers are, who the publishers are, and then it will say, would you like to get a license for this song? You click yes, and it asks you a series of questions. How many downloads do you expect to sell? How many streams do you expect to get? You enter the numbers that you put there, and then it charges you right there the exact rate that the publishers and songwriters are supposed to make for those streams and those sales. You pay for it right there. If you put in there that you expect to sell 1,000 downloads, then it's going to charge you for 1,000 downloads for the publishing and songwriter share of 1,000 songs. It also issues you a written license to be able to show that you've paid those royalties and you now have a license to be able to use that and to be able to cover that song. It's very simple. If you sell more than 1,000, you can go back in and redo the license and say, I actually sold 15,000 copies, and then you pay the difference. It's very simple, folks. Songfile.com. If you want to do covers on YouTube, or you want to do awesome covers, even compose them completely different, arrange them completely different, that's fine. You can do it. As long as the song's been commercially released, you can go to songfile.com and you can get your correct and appropriate licenses for what it is that you're trying to do to monetize that cover song. It's very easy, very simple to do. All right, guys, thank you for joining me for another episode. Don't forget, rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. If you're on Apple Podcast, iTunes, even if you're not, go over there, rate the podcast 5 stars, and leave us a written review. I greatly appreciate it. Check out the new podcast merch at thestevefreeman.com. You can also join my inner circle there, get on my email list. You get some tips, some tricks, some advice, just every once in a while, a little something from me. You can do that there on the site as well. And don't forget, our sponsors make the show possible. So go check them out. Performance Inspired Nutrition, pi-nutrition.com, as well as the Artist Development Academy. You can find it at artistdevelopmentacademy.com. And you can save 30% on your all access membership right now when you enter code Steve at checkout. Guys, thank you for being here. Until the next time, keep being creative, keep pressing the boundaries, and there's nothing wrong with being independent. See you in the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for the Steve Freeman Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and follow Steve on social media at the Steve Freeman.